Welcome to the We Love Wrestling spot. My name is Terry. Today I am with someone who I saw at, as you see the poster here, Black Wrestlers Matters. He was in the main event match against ACH. He won that match, and he is now starting to get his name more out here. His name is JDX. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing pretty good, man. Doing pretty good. Like I just told you off the record, like I'm trying to balance life. Actually, like now that you mention it, ever since like Black Wrestlers Matter, like it's been crazy. Like trying to unwind because I was in such a zone for that. Like getting ready for that match is like been difficult. Trying to like keep that same hunger, that same grit, that same grind, if you will. You know, not just like wrestling, but just life in general. Like being in such a zone and being on my A game. So,
All right.
doing pretty well overall, though.
So the first question I always ask before we get into it is, why do you love wrestling, or what started your love for wrestling?
So I love wrestling because it's like it's acting, it's athleticism, it's all that wrapped into one. You know, it's like almost like one take Drake. You know what I mean? Like you got most of the time you got one shot. We're live, you know what I mean? So you don't have time for screw ups and whatnot. And before we get too deep into this, is it okay to curse?
I mean, it's you being yourself. It's how you want to represent yourself. So I don't have no.
Absolutely, I got you. Yeah, I got you. But yeah, it's just theatrics and athleticism all wrapped into one. And you know, like contrary to what people think, it does take real skill. You know, people outside of wrestling, like obviously wrestling fans know that it takes skill and everything, but people outside of wrestling, when they actually, oh, you wrestle? Like, they have a school for that? Like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, is it real? Like, you know, just absurd questions that you hear sometimes.
Right.
So
You said they have a school for that. I was looking and I saw that you it said that the school that you trained at is Mr. Anderson.
yes, sir.
How is that training with Mr. Anderson, a former WWE superstar, Impact star, also?
So actually, it's really dope, man. And right now he's our only trainer. But like when I started, I had Sean Davari, Aria Davari. Well, Aria Davari is still there, but you know, with TV and everything, he comes when he gets. Sorry, man, it's a gnat like flying in my atmosphere. But anyways, to answer your question, yeah, it was Eric Cannon, Sean Davari, Molly Holly a little bit, and Mr. Anderson. But as far as Mr. Anderson goes, it's pretty dope, man, to learn from him, like just to hear, you know, what he did right, what he did wrong, what he could have done better. Like Kennon's a real stand-up guy, you know what I mean? Like it's to the point now where it's just like when I actually wrestled him for the first time, like I had forgotten, like the dude was a fucking star. You know what I mean? It was just like, for me, it was just like Ken, like, oh, okay, I'm wrestling Ken. But then like when I started to gain a little clout and like my friends outside of wrestling and stuff, I was like, oh, snap, like, dude, you finna wrestle Mr. Kennedy? I'm just like, yeah, like I see him like 5 days out of the week, bro. Like, so it took me a second or two, like probably like the actual day of, like, dude, it was like a childhood dream type of thing.
Okay.
It made me realize like who he actually was, you know?
Right. So I'm going to play this just like I'm a new fan trying to get to know you. So
Okay.
you said you were so focused on the Black Wrestlers Matter show. What type of training did you do going into that show?
Oh, man. So, like, it's really up, like, my footwork and stuff like that, just making sure, like, I could go, you know, ACH. It's up my footwork, like, on ladders and stuff like that, you know, like football agility drills, like, stuff like that, box jumps, like, I kind of up the intensity and the reps and stuff of my typical, like, full body workouts.
Okay.
Because overall, like, I was just in the zone, you know what I mean? Like, from being in the gym, being consistent with that, going like 340, because that's what I typically do, like 4 to 5 days a week, and then also eating right. So just because JDX loves to dabble in desserts, so like I had to cut out the desserts and just cut out like distractions in my life, just like going on dates and stuff where like women that love to like You know what I mean? Just get you to eat bad food and stuff like that. Just like all of the distractions in my life, I was just like focused on just the gym and just like training, like at the academy,
Okay.
like putting in that work, like with Airwolf and stuff, and Jossie and Angel El Dorado, Devon Monroe. Like all of us, like we were just all in the zone because for a lot of us, that was our first match back. So that was the biggest thing. Like not only was it a huge like clout opportunity for me and like all that Black Wrestlers Matter was, but like it was also the fact that it was my first match back because I had a couple of shows get canceled on me that I was supposed to have had like before the actual show. So like I want to be a shell of myself, stepping into the ring for the first time in 6 months,
All right.
with this huge spotlight on me against someone like ACH.
Now, talking about that, you did win that match. I love the finisher that you had. Can you name the finisher again?
Yeah, I call it the televised demise.
The televised demise. How do you come up with a name like televised demise?
Honestly, like I can't even recall like the exact moment where I was just like, that's what I'm gonna call it. Like that just looks like a televised demise. I had a few options. I know like oftentimes like I write down in my notes like certain things like character ideas or promos or whatever. And one of them was like for that finish, like I think chalk outline was one. Like like kind of like when people die and they have like the outline chalk.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's corny as hell. So you gotta forgive me, Terry. I had to tell ACH the same thing. Like, well, yeah, dude, I'm corny as hell. So like, just deal with me. So like, yeah, I had that like chalk outline. I think televised demise was one. Like basically like saying like your demise will be televised. Like I don't know. I think it had something to do with because like right before NXT brought back In Your House, like I was watching a lot of old footage of like In Your House is like with HBK and the 95, 96 run and stuff like that. And like, so I was really in Your House at the time. So I was going to say like JDX is in your house and he's in your mouth, like some like lame ass, like saying like that. And so I was like, oh, JDX TV or something like that. So your demise will be televised. And so that might, if I had to guess, that would probably be what I would bet it on.
Okay, that
how
works.
I came up with it.
Now I do want to know, since we were talking about Black Wrestlers Matter, you was in the main event match, and
Sure.
you won that main event. So maybe about a week or 2 weeks ago, they announced Black Wrestlers Matters 2 on Juneteenth in 2021. Now, being in the main event and beating ACH, what are you looking to do the next one? Are you going to go main event it again?
I mean, you would think, right? That would be the natural progression of things. Or I guess, honestly, the only thing I think that can add to that is just a championship. Because, like, little do people know, John and I, the original plan was for there to be a title on the line. And yours truly was supposed to be in that match. And then he hit me up, like, a few weeks afterwards and was like, yo, change of plans. Like, I was like, oh, shit, like, okay. What now? Like I just thought like something like maybe it was gonna be canceled because a lot of shows, like I said earlier, like a lot of shows have been canceled or whatever. And then that's when he hit me. He dropped the ACH bomb on me. But up to that point, like as far as I knew that there was gonna be a championship, still like I thought maybe John was gonna still have a belt. Like there was gonna be some type of title match at Black Wrestlers Matter, the first one that is. So I would think I'm hoping that come around next year Juneteenth that we'll have a championship or something like that. So maybe
Do you mean your own promotion championship, or are you talking about Black Wrestlers Matter?
No, a Black Wrestlers Matter championship.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gonna say there is a title out there, the Pan African World Diaspora Championship.
Yes, that is a thing of beauty. Yes.
You got your eyes on that?
Oh, for sure. I got my eyes on every belt.
Oh, okay. Now I was scrolling Instagram and I saw you with a few titles. It's about 3 of them.
Yes, sir.
What championships do you hold right now?
So actually I like to say a table for 5 because I just won my 4th belt.
Oh.
Over the weekend. So those titles are the AWF Championship, which is American Wrestling Federation out here in Minnesota. Another championship that I hold is the Pro Wrestling Battleground Breakout Championship for a promotion called Pro Wrestling Battleground that's out here also in Minnesota. And then the third championship that I hold is the Academy School of Professional Wrestling Championship, which is, Ken Anderson School, the school I go to. We've run a couple of shows now, and I had the honor of being the first inaugural champion for that. And then also I just won RCCW City of La Crosse Championship out in Wisconsin.
Oh, so got a little information since you said that. You're a 2-time AWF champion?
Oh, snap. He's doing his research. Yes, sir.
And it says you've been holding that title since June 30th of 2019.
That is correct. Yeah, I had lost it. I think I won it in December of 2018 for the first time. Then I lost it against Angel Eldorado, actually.
Oh.
In the summer of 2019. Yeah, then I got it back a few weeks later. And yeah, I've held it since. So,
and
yeah, June 30th. Okay. I appreciate that information.
And the
I was wondering.
PWB Breakout Championship. You're closing in on 1 year with that belt because you won that
October, right?
November 23rd.
Okay.
Was
it really November 23rd? It might have been.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it says here. I don't know. So
I think so.
Collecting belts. Do you have any defenses coming up? I mean, holding a belt that long, it has to be people out here trying to get to you.
Yeah, I'll actually be defending the newly won lacrosse championship at RCCW on October 3rd.
October 3rd?
Actually against Cal Creed.
Ooh.
Cal Creed, it was also on the show.
Okay. Got any words for Mr. Creed?
He already know. He already know what the D stands for, because D stands for defend, because I'm going to defend it like my life depends on it, I plan on walking out with that one.
All right. Do you have any other shows that are coming up besides the title defense for RCCW?
Any other shows? I'm trying to think here. Some AWF tapings, like the one of the promotions that I named that I'm champion for. We're doing like some tapings and stuff. It won't be open to fans. Mm-hmm. So, any other shows? I think that just about does it, other than me like showing up and helping out at certain promotions and stuff.
All right. So before we close out, I have 2 more questions. So the first one is, are there any wrestlers out here or any talent that you're looking to face that you haven't faced? Maybe like 3 or 4 names?
Yeah, absolutely. 3 or 4. I can give you like 10.
Oh, give me 10.
Let me stop capping. Because they'll be like, it's way more. But no, actually, MLW actually was talking about who Myron Reed should defend his title against. So I threw my hat. I threw my what's the term?
Threw your name in the hat.
Yeah, I put my. I thought that was it, but I was like, nah, that ain't it. But I threw my name in that hat. And actually, we were chatting back and forth on Twitter earlier to make it happen. So yeah, definitely Myron Reed. I guess he would be at the top of the list. I would love to face a guy like Trey Lamar.
Yes. I just saw him this past weekend at the GCW show here.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that, because you said you were in Indianapolis. I was like, oh, did you check out GCW?
I got some video. I'm actually going to be posting it a little bit later, work and everything. But I got some nice videos from their match and everything.
Got a little footage?
Yeah, when I go to matches, I like to record a little footage, make sure I can get it out there to the people so they know about it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, I love what you guys are doing, with the We Love Wrestling. That's super dope.
That just came to my head. I said, something constantly you hear, We Love Wrestling. It might have known you. It's going to be like, man, we love wrestling. And a lot of people if I watch one of your videos and I don't hear it in the background, it's an issue. So,
Yeah.
Just keep doing it for people.
Absolutely.
Now, you said Myron Reed.
Mm-hmm. Trey Lamar.
And
then another one I'll say, me and him actually were talking over Twitter. He pitched it himself, actually. Stephen Wolf.
Oh. And he pitched it to – oh.
Yes, sir.
Some of this happened.
Yes, yeah, no, for sure. All three of those gotta happen.
Yes.
Better happen.
Random question. The Rock or Stone Cold?
You know, I always go back and forth on that one without making it too long. without making it too long-winded. Damn, it's super hard, man. Because the other day I was watching Stone Cold promos and it was like, bro, he was so good. And then you got The Rock.
That's what I said. Random.
It's hard, bro. It's hard. It's hard.
I
It's
know.
like, damn, it's hard. Okay, I'll narrow it down to this. Okay, in ring work, I'll go because both of them are gold on the mic for me personally.
Right.
But I'll say in ring work. I'll say The Rock.
Mm.
I'll say The Rock just because of in ring work.
Okay.
Not that Stone Cold wasn't good, but just he was very unorthodox in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
With the brawling and stuff. So I'll go.
There is no right or wrong answer on that question.
Absolutely.
What
about you though? Let me put you on the spot.
I'm gonna say The Rock all day because growing up for me, just seeing The Rock, that hit different for me. So I always pick The Rock on that question.
For sure.
And that was just something random that came up in my head maybe like 2 weeks ago. I was like, man, I need to ask more people just The Rock or Stone Cold, and
for sure
we'll just go on something with that.
That's like a MJ and Prince, like LeBron or Mike.
Yeah.
It's like one of them type of questions.
One of those that make you
Can't go wrong.
Ooh, yeah. Any answer is okay.
Sure.
Now, my next question is there, let's say COVID aside, is there anything that you would like people to know about you or any plans that you have on a future for your career that you just want to let the people know about?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm just in that grind right now. Like I'm starting to, like for me, it was always a thing where it's like, okay, I was like WWE, WWE, WWE. Even before I started like training, I just like honestly, I didn't know who Eric Kennett was. And now, like, I realize, like, there are more people out there like Eric Kennedy that never made it to the big dance, you know what I mean? Quote unquote, like, never made it to the E, that are still, like, freaking phenomenal, you know what I mean? And I still want to make it to TV. So, like, that leads me to say this, like, that I'm just like trying to make it to TV, whether it's MLW, whether it's AEW, whether it's WWE, NXT, what have you, or freaking Impact or whatever. Like, I'm open to all avenues, like, all, like, anything that's basically TV, because I feel like that's ultimately what I was born to do. I was born to be on TV. I feel like I'm a 5-tool player. Like, I feel like I can talk. I feel like I can wrestle. And I'm only getting better. Like, I've only been wrestling for 2 years. So, like, my projection for myself was to always be signed at 5. And I feel like 3 years from now, or 2.5 years from now, I should say, because I'll be 3 years in November. But, like, 2 years from now, I feel like, yeah, I'll be TV ready. I feel like I'm, to a certain extent, like, I'm TV ready now. But that's just, like, I'm just on that grind, that goal. Like, because, like, AEW and NXT, they're picking people off like Cornwood in the Indies. You know what I mean? They're like, hey, you're hot. Like, come here. You're hot. Come here. I'm just trying to make it to that next level. Like, I break the Indies down into 3 tiers. I always say, like, right now, I'm in that 1 tier. Like, I'm knocking on the door. I'm scratching at tier 2, like, to give further explanation as to what I mean by that. Like, a guy like Airwolf, I look at him as, like, in that tier 2, like, trying to break it to that tier 3. I look at tier 3 as, like, the PWGs of the world, stuff like that, just to, without being longer-winded, like, to
Black Label Pros and shows
stuff
going
like
on.
That. Yeah, okay. Like, I'm trying to, like, get into that atmosphere, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I just see, like, I see the light at the end of the tunnel. I always did, but now more than ever, like, I'm focusing in on my craft even more, putting that time in, not being afraid to do certain things. Like, that's just where I'm at right now.
Okay.
I'm seeing it.
Okay. When we start recording, I'll talk to you about something. So,
okay.
My last segment we call is the Put Yourself Over segment. This is where you give out your.
I just did that.
This is the Put Yourself Over more so more people can actually get to your social media, follow your journey, be able to get in contact with you, know where you at. Just let the people know where they can reach you at online and everything.
Absolutely. And I appreciate that, because you'll be surprised how many like podcasts I actually hop on, and sometimes they forget about that. Like, damn, y'all ain't gonna give me the opportunity to like get more followers or whatever, get more clout.
I call that put yourself over at the end. I might start doing it at the beginning for people so we can get it out there. But yeah, it's always got to get your social media out. Why bring you on to spotlight you if I can't have you put your social media out?
Absolutely. But yeah, I can be found at on Twitter as official JDX. You can find me on Instagram at official.jdx. And then what else do we really get on? I guess Facebook. I guess you can find me at the real McCoy JDX, like my page there. I don't push that as much as I probably should with like the likes and all that stuff. Yeah, those are the three main things you could find me on. And then you can just see my journey, see my grind, like, because I'm grinding every day. Like, literally, I'm doing this like podcast right now, not just because they have pretty solid Wi-Fi, but because I'm finna, like, as soon as we get off, as soon as we get off this call, like, I'm going to, put work in. Like, I'm always working, and that's one thing like that I try to credit myself on. Like, I try to pride myself on more and more. Like, I don't give myself enough credit as to how hard I actually work. So like, yeah, if you guys follow me on those social media platforms, specifically like Instagram, like you'll see me posting stuff on my story of me always working, me always trying to get better, whether it's at the gym or in the ring. So yeah.
Man, the part you said you don't put yourself over enough. I just had the conversation with one of my friends about that. It was like, you got to put yourself over more, because if you don't put yourself over, nobody else will. So yes,
nobody else will. Facts.
And that's what I always try to teach people. You put yourself over, and I'll repost it to help you put yourself over, but it's got to be you putting it out there first. And that's the main thing. Well, JDX, I would like to thank you for just taking the time out your schedule. You're in the gym about to work out, for even talking to us and coming on the spotlight. Before we close out, any final words or anything else?
Yeah, I just want to piggyback again without being too long. I feel like I've said that 10 times now. But like, honestly, like, one thing that you said about putting yourself over, like, nobody else, you can't have nobody else want it more than you do. You know what I mean? For you. So like, that's what like this whole, like, the Black Wrestlers Matter thing, like, that's been so eye-opening for me, like how much we've supported each other, like fellow Black wrestlers. Like, because everybody, like, yeah, fans do it, but like, we have to do it. We have to like cheer each other on and root for each other and retweet and share things for each other, because like, nobody else is going to do it for us. You know what I mean? We have to put that spotlight on ourselves. We have to help each other out.
Facts. And that's the exact reason why we wanted you on here after we saw you at the Black Wrestlers Matter show. It's like, hey, we need to talk to him. And thank you for coming on and talking with us. But like always, to close it out, I'm Terry with We Love Wrestling. This is JDX. And like I always say, if I love wrestling and you love wrestling, then we love wrestling. It's too sweet for the culture.